So you want to invest in Verizon stock. Well, before you do anything, I advise you to do your homework. And that's exactly what we're going to do on this show. We're going to do a little bit of homework on Verizon, and I'll give you my opinion at the end of whether or not I would buy this stock. So the first area that I always look at when it comes down to investing in a business is I want to know, what do they actually do? Or I guess you could say, what are the products? And then I ask myself, what types of problems does that product solve? And I'll explain why that's an important one. So let's look at Verizon. First, the way they look at their business is cell phones, or I guess you would say hardware and services. The hardware may be cell phones, it may be accessories, it may be, I guess you say ancillary devices and services. So giving you access to data, to make voice calls, all of the such. And then the other part of their business is those same products, but for businesses. Now they separate those two because what the individual consumer needs and what a business needs could be very different, and the pricing is different. So they look at those as two separate businesses. And then they have the Verizon Media. Now, Verizon Media is their relationships that they have with sports entertainment, also includes sports betting to where it happens on their application or through their devices. Now, most people probably think like, okay, what's the big deal about the Verizon Media? It's a pretty big part of their business because it's about $2 billion in revenue. So it's not something that you want to overlook. You want to pay attention to it. Now, the whole reason of looking at their products is to ask myself, okay, where do they really make their money, and what does this product actually solve? What problem is it solving for people? And the reason why that's important is because if a company solves a problem that a lot of people have, that means there's a lot of potential for growth in that industry. Because if they have a product that's a really good product, but it only solves a problem for a small group of people, it means that company probably doesn't have a lot of growth potential, and it probably means you probably don't have a lot of growth potential in the stock price either. So their biggest product is their consumers. So what they sell, the hardware and the services to individual consumers, that makes up about 70% of their business. Now, I think that is a very, very good thing because that is a problem that a lot of people have. I mean, think about it. We spend so much time on our cell phones, and the fact that that is the major part of their business, that is a good sign for Verizon. So on that end, I would say on the product scale, Verizon, I would give them an A on that category. Now that we looked at the products, you want to look at the finances, because you can have a great product, but if you do not have a good business underneath the product or behind the product, it might not be a good investment. So when we look at the numbers, there's a couple of things that jump out to me. So first, looking at the numbers, I see their sales went up from 2018 to 2019. It went up by 1%. Now, when I looked and I compared that to other telecom companies in the industry, the average was somewhere around 5%, which tells me Verizon didn't grow as much as some of its other competitors. I'd probably look and ask a few more questions about that one. Now, one of the other things that jumped out to me is that Verizon did have a pretty good profit. Their profit margins increased by 13%. Now, what that tells me is it didn't happen in their sales because it wasn't like they sold a bunch of new stuff. What it tells me is that they were able to figure out how to cut their costs. All of the costs that go into running their business, all the back office stuff, whether it was tools or taxes that they were paying, whatever it was, it tells me that the management did a good job of figuring out how do they reduce the cost so you can improve the profit that you can give back to the owners of the business, which would be the investors in this case. So from that aspect, I would say that because Verizon did a really good job of increasing their profit without having to increase their revenue, I would say that's a good sign. But I am a little concerned when it comes down to buying stocks. It's about growth. And because the revenue didn't grow by that much, I'm a little cautious on this one. So In the area of the finances, I would give them a B minus. Now, the last area that you really want to pay attention to, this is the very, very important part. So this is probably why you showed up. It's how you actually make money. When it comes down to stocks, there are probably two ways that you're going to make money, I guess, without getting too complicated. The two ways you're going to make money are either you buy it at one price and you sell it at another, and you get to keep the difference as the profit, or it'll be a loss if you end up selling it at a loss. And then the other way is a dividend. And what a dividend is typically when a company is pretty stable, the company will say, hey, we had a good year, or the profits were pretty high. We're gonna give every shareholder X amount of dollars per share back. So in Verizon's case, they actually do issue a dividend, and they issue 61 cents for every share that you own. So if you own the stock, every quarter, you might get a small bonus check, which is a good thing because you get to hold on to your stock, plus you get this nice little bonus check. So that's a good sign. Now, the other end is the price. Now, this is probably the most, I guess you would say, the most common way that people make money when it comes down to stocks is buying it at one price and selling it at another. Now, at the time that I am recording this, the stock price for Verizon is $56.53. Now, when I look at their 52-week range, which tells me the lowest that it's been in the last 52 weeks and the highest that it's been in the last 52 weeks, the low end is $48.84. The high end is $62.22, which tells me the price is currently sitting somewhere in the middle, which is a good sign. It tells me that, hey, people still have some confidence in this stock. Again, anything could happen and cause that to change, but based on what we know right now, it looks pretty stable. Now, when it comes down to how you can make money, I would give Verizon a B because it's a pretty established company. I don't foresee the price jumping up drastically, but there could be some increase there. So I'd say a B plus. So when we look at that, we say the product is an A, the financials a B minus, and the way you can make money is a B plus. I would round that out to a B plus for Verizon. So if you're in the market and you're looking for a telecom company, Verizon could be a good one. And here's the reason why I think it could be a good one. It's a pretty big, stable company. They sell a product that a lot of people need, and they are a leader in the industry, and there appears to be some room for growth in the stock price. Now, also, whenever you're buying a stock, you should be aware of what may be the challenges. One of the very big challenges that I would keep my eye on is the competition in this industry. Recently, T-Mobile and Sprint have finally joined together, a merger that's been in the works for a while. That could pose a lot of challenge for Verizon as a company, and it'll be very interesting to see how Verizon would respond to that. So, if you're looking at Verizon, that's how I would do homework on it. Now, if you like this video and you want to see more reviews on how we do homework on stocks, leave a comment below, smash the subscribe button, or like this video. Let us know what companies do you want to see on the show.